Okay, the first thing we're going to do is open up Adobe Illustrator. So if you go into your search bar and type Adobe, your Illustrator will pop up. And once it opens up, we are going to go ahead and open up a new artboard. An artboard is what we call the spaces that you work on. You can have multiple artboards up at once, but we're just going to be working with one artboard at a time. And right here, you'll see where you can change the amount of artboards that you have on the screen. So we're just going to start with one, and we can name it whatever we want. Size-wise, we're going to go ahead and just stick with the letter size, which is your 8.5 by 11, your piece of paper. You can change this over here to points and millimeters and things, but we're going to stick with inches. And right here's your orientation. Now this is something that you can change after the fact, but it's easier to probably set it up the way you want from the beginning. And then when you go ahead and push OK, there is your artboard. You can zoom in with the little magnifying glass right here. It will become a plus, and you can zoom in and move it around as you work on things. If you want to zoom back out, you can hold down your Alt key and click, and that'll take you zoomed back out again. Another thing is your hand tool right here. If you click on that, it will move your entire artboard. So if there's times you're working on multiple things, you can just click and kind of move that around. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is just how to draw shapes. So if you come up here to your toolbar over here, and yours may look a little different, but you should have all of the same tools. If not, we can reset your toolbars. You're going to come up here to click your rectangle tool, and this is where you'll find all of your different shapes. So if you click on a rectangle and you draw your rectangle, you may or may not see what you've drawn, and it may be filled with a color, it may not. Mine is set right now to fill it with white, and the outside is black. And so you'll see right here is your fill and then your stroke color, and it's also up here at the top. So if I wanted to make it purple, I could fill it with purple and make my outer edge be pink. You can't really see that, and that's because your stroke size is set to 1 point. So if you click right here, you can make that as big as you want, and you'll see that the outer edge is starting to show up. So that is how you can change all of that. Okay, so I have my rectangle. Now I'm going to come over and I will draw a circle. So it will automatically keep the same settings that I had before, but all I have to do is go ahead and change that. And I can make it whatever I'd like. Now if I decide that I want to go back and change my original rectangle, right up here on your left, the top is your selection tool. This is something that you will be using a lot. Okay, this is how you can click on an object that you've drawn, and you can move it however you want. So if I wanted to change that, I first need to select it, and then I can go ahead and make the changes that I want. So we're going to go ahead and delete what we've already done. So if you click on an object, you can delete it like that. Also, if you want to select multiple objects at once, you would click your select tool and you would just drag, and it will grab both of them, and you can delete them both at the same time. If you want to draw a perfect circle or a perfect square, when you click on your shape, you're going to hold down the Shift key, and that will create a perfectly round circle and a perfectly square square. Okay, so that's it. You got to remember that. You will use that often. Another shape that I want to show you is the star tool. When you go ahead and draw your star, keep your finger holding down on the keyboard. And you're going to go ahead and push the up button, and it will add more points to your star. And if you hit the down button, it will erase, or it will lower the amount of points on your star. So you can add as many as you want. And that's what it looks like. One thing I want to point out, it depends, everyone's settings may be a little different, but you'll notice that I'm able to move my object wherever I want, and it's not snapping it to where it thinks it wants to go. There are times that you want it to snap so that things line up, and there are times that you don't want it to snap. If you click up here on View, there is a snap to grid and a snap to point. So I had both of mine turned off, and that's okay for what I'm doing right now. Like I said, there may be times that you want objects lined up perfectly. You're going to have your ruler that you can work with, things like that. So that's right where you would find that. View and snap to grid. We're going to go ahead and delete our star, and we're going to work with the brush tool. So if you click on your paintbrush tool, you can go ahead and play around with this. As you draw things, they become objects. So just like before with our shapes, we can click on that and then we can move what we've drawn around. Okay, we can also change the colors, and we can also change the stroke size. We can change the size of it, just like that. So there's a lot of different things that you can do just with the paintbrush tool. So I'd like to show you some of the different brush styles that are available. When you come up here to where it says 5-point round, yours may not say that, and you'll click on that, you'll see there's a few different like brushes right here, and there's different sizes. But if you come to the very left bottom, you'll see where it says Brush Libraries menu. And when you click on that, there's a ton of different brushes that are available. So if you just click on one, even if you just click on arrows, pattern arrows, and you'll see that there are different ones that you can choose. So when you go to draw, it's going to look completely different. And you'll see that it's has become an arrow. Okay, so you can totally change that depending on, what you're working on, what you need. And I encourage you to kind of just check it out and see, what's available and what's out there. And if you make a mistake and you just want to go back, you can always just edit and undo. Okay, the last thing that we're going to do in this video is learn how to use the text tool, and it's really easy. I'm going to go ahead and just start a new artboard. And over here you can see that you have your type tool. So there's two different ways that you can type. You can just click and you can start typing like that. And then you'll know that if you go up here to your selection tool, you can click on it and you can drag it like that. Okay, and that will resize it. The other way that you can use the text tool is you click on type tool and you can draw a rectangle. Okay, depending on where you want the text to go, and it will make the text that you type fit inside of that box. Okay, so those are the two different ways that you can do that. And then if you change the box size, it will keep your text inside of that box. So let's just say that I want to change the size of my text. I go back into my text tool right here where the T is, and I can click right in the box and highlight, and come right up here, and here's all your different sizes. You can change the font to bold, and then over here's all your different font styles. Now it is kind of annoying because you can't really preview it, but it's just the way it is. You can also come right here and you can center a line right, a line left, and here's all your different colors, and that's where you can go ahead and change the color of your font. And the last thing I want to point out is right up here at the top when you click on Character Panel, this is where you can change your font. There's going to be times where you need to make the letters closer together or further apart. So if you come in here, and you can change that by lowering the numbers, and you'll see how my letters are becoming closer together. And that will actually add space to it. That actually makes the letters themselves thicker, and this will make the space between the letters bigger. There's a lot of different things we can do, and we are going to do a little bit more with text. That will be the next lesson. Okay?